Bournemouth have just 2 games to go in the Premier League, and with Palace winning the FA Cup Europe, it probably looks unlikely. That said, it's still possible. Later on, we'll go through the different permutations, but either way, it's a case of winning your own games and seeing if luck will get you somewhere. But when you want a match to win, maybe away at Manchester City is not the one. Who knows? Welcome to the Back of the Net Big Match Preview. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Ben Phillips.
Ben Phillips, nice to have you with us. I was about to say, Tom looks different this week, but we've got a younger version. I suppose at this point, it's prudent to say congratulations to Palace. Brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a very, very good performance from them. I spoke to a few Palace fans after. They said that they set up a bit differently to what they normally would. They were setting back quite a bit and doing almost a similar thing to what Southampton did, which held them to a 0-0 draw. Obviously, they've got more quality, and that's why they won. They were brilliant, and they fully deserved it, because the run they went on, beating Fulham, Villa, City, all very, very deserved wins, only conceding 1 goal in the whole competition. Yeah, thoroughly deserved. And what an incredible moment for English football as well. Obviously, it may dampen our European hopes, but it's all right.
It keeps the magic of the FA Cup alive, doesn't it? So look, after the Cherries' disappointing home defeat against Aston Villa, we face Pep Guardiola's men. They're probably getting angry at their FA Cup loss. They're 6th in the league, so for them, it's a must-win match. But maybe it works for us that that's the case. But look, maybe this month is all about the doubles. We did it over Arsenal. That one was unlikely. Maybe we can do it again. Let's check out the reverse fixture. It was very tasty.
There's one back, and that was a great header. Travers nearly kept it out. My God. That was a hell of a header.
Yeah! It's finally happened! What a game that was, Ben. Those on YouTube have just seen the footage of what we witnessed. Superb 2-1 win. That was back in November. At that point in time, Pep's side were top of the Premier League. And it seemed that Bournemouth stimulated this terrible run of form for Manchester City. I've never seen a City side so bad in a long time. But hey, Bournemouth got in there first, and that was a really famous win for us, wasn't it? 2-1.
Yeah, because it just felt so perfect, just the way that we played. Because it's not like we scraped past them in a 2-1. I thought we were very comfortable for a lot of the game. We created a lot of chances. It could have been, 3 or 4-0 on another day.
Yeah.
I think 2-1 almost flatters them a bit. But we were brilliant. Such an excellent day. And finally getting that first ever win against ManCity. Obviously, we don't talk about the later on game in the FA Cup against them, but that game itself was something special.
Yeah, I mean, we will mention it. They played us at our place, of course, in the Cup, and we were dreaming of Wembley. We were dreaming of the same dreams that Palace fans are now living out after winning the competition. But look, that was our third time we've been in the quarterfinals, and it felt like they were just starting to turn their season at that point in time.
Yeah.
And, first half, promised a lot. Of course, they missed their penalty. We scored through Evan Nilsson. But then in the second half, we didn't really have a sniff, did they? And it was a case of Haaland and Marmoush that got them through to the semis.
Yeah, they were very, very good in that second half. I think after our goal that we scored, we didn't have a shot. And that shows that they obviously turned the screw. Whatever Pep said, I don't know. But they were very, very impressive. And again, it felt like at half-time it was written in the stars to be a Bournemouth win because, just saving a penalty, then scoring, the sun was shining, all the fans were upbeat. It felt like that was going to be our time because of how well the season had been going either side of that. But obviously it wasn't meant to be, and then they went on to eventually lose in the final. So it's not as bad, but yeah, I thought in the second half they were excellent, especially that O'Reilly that got subbed on.
Do you remember our last time at Manchester City though, Ben? Because it wasn't pretty. My God, what a day that was. Can you remember the scoreline?
I'm pretty sure we lost 6-1, and I think it was 0-0 after like half an hour or so.
It was
mental how much we capitulated there. Remember Sinistera scored like one of his only goals that season.
That made it like 4-1 at the time, I think.
Yeah, and then I was thinking, maybe we could get one back, and it looks like a decent scoreline. And then obviously we went and lost 6-1, so the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, well, going into this game, Manchester City, they've been on an 8-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. Their last defeat was back in March when they lost away against Nottingham Forest. At home, since their defeat at Dean Court, right, they've won 8, drawn 2, lost 3. Away, they've won 4 and drawn 4. Later, we're going to go over their games and take a close eye on how they've been doing. But here's the league table now then, and as you can see, Bournemouth, due to Fulham's win at Brentford, which ironically did us a favour, we are down to 11th place. But look, there's a couple of interesting races. Race for 8th, but also the Champions League one as well. Look, will the 8th be relevant? We don't know. And Ben, I think we need to get out of the way. Here are the European connotations, right? So 6 teams are going to be in the Champions League next season. That's the top 5 in the league, plus the Europa Cup winners, which of course will be Man United or Spurs. The 2 top teams already, by the way, they have already qualified for the Champions League. So 5 teams are competing for the remaining 3 spots. Now, by winning the FA Cup, Palace have qualified for the Europa League. Similarly, the team who finish 6th will also qualify for the Europa League. But this is where it gets complicated, right? Because if Newcastle finish in the top 6, they're home at Everton, so they probably should, right? Then 7th place in the Premier League will qualify for the Conference League instead of them because they won the Carabao Cup, right? There is a chance that 8th can be Europe, but it relies on Chelsea, right? Solely on Chelsea. So all our focus, Chelsea, who would have to finish in a league position which doesn't carry European football, i.e. 7th place. Also, they need to win the Conference League for that to happen. That allocates that extra spot to the Premier League. I mean, take away our hypothetical chances of qualifying. This whole European thing, mate, that's the most interesting thing. I mean, the title's done, relegation's done, but this is the closest sort of Champions League battle we've had in years, isn't it?
Well, permitting that Brighton don't go and do a job on Liverpool tonight, there's going to be some hope and form of battle for the Europa Conference League, hopefully between Brentford, Fulham, Brighton and us, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then obviously the race for Champions League, if we were to theoretically say, let's say we go away to MANCITY and draw, that would be Newcastle on 66, Chelsea on 66, Villa on 66, Man City on 66, and then Forest on 65. So it's going to be such a mental last day no matter what happens. Obviously, we've got to hope that Forest do a job on Chelsea, and then other results go our way, like Villa winning away at Old Trafford, City beating Fulham. That would kind of do us a favour both ways. So it's going to be a bizarre last day, and it feels nice that hopefully there's going to be something to play for no matter what, because we've never really had that before.
No.
But it would be typical of Bournemouth for us to then end up finishing 8th, and then Chelsea finish 7th, and then lose in the Conference League final. That would be typical Bournemouth.
Well, that's what the Newcastle fans experienced, didn't they, last season?
Yeah.
Because obviously, they won at Brentford, but it didn't quite go for them with Man United winning the FA Cup over Man City. Here's the form table then. Let's check it out. Bournemouth currently sit in 10th. Manchester City are right up there. This is going on the last 6, okay? So out of the last 6 games, they've garnered 14 points. Bournemouth, 9 points. And then the home and away tables as well. So it's pertinent to look at where Manchester City are at home. 4th. Away, Bournemouth are 4th as well. So we've got a really interesting battle on our hands. Now, whilst we've been recording, an ex-Cherry has walked into the room, and you know what? We're going to try to get him on camera. So, at this point, 2 has become 3. As you'll see, we've got a familiar face with us. By the way, former Cherries defender and assistant manager and BBC Radio Solent co-commentator, John Williams. John, how are you?
Very good. What a season. Absolutely amazing the way things have come together, and as it's my last season, I'm so proud to have been a small part of it.
And you've been co-commentating throughout the years. You were telling me earlier, 25 years, is that right?
Yeah, I think 25 years-ish. There was a couple, before me and Chris started doing it, there was people before that as well. So, yeah, but so many memories, so many good times, some not very good in the Winter Gardens and all that business. But, you know, it's just been a journey so special to me. I can't believe my luck, to be quite honest.
Ben, he's witnessed some pretty big games this season. I mean, we all have. What's up there for you?
Everton has got to be up there. The comeback, just the limbs. If any of you ought to remember my limbs video that went around Twitter and a few other social media platforms, that was incredible just because it came completely from nothing. Yeah. And then the Newcastle away win and Forest at home as well, the 5-0. Everyone thought we maybe would get something because we're kind of their bogey team, but then spanking them 5-0 was mental. And then obviously the City and Arsenal wins as well, both very memorable.
So it's been our best ever season, and you've witnessed that. I mean, we've been flirting with Europe. I don't think it's going to happen. There are still some kind of possibilities, but so you've travelled to pretty much every game home and away, haven't you, this season?
Yes, yeah, every game, yeah.
And surely you're going to miss it, aren't you?
Yeah, I will, but I think I'm diplomatically moving away from it. You know, let's put it that way. I'm still going to be doing some bits and bobs, by the way. It's not a total blackout type thing, but it won't be like it was in the past. I mean, we were talking just before about over the years, the people that I've dealt with, and obviously Chris is the main one. So many memories of good and bad and indifferent and good games, and counting the seagulls on roofs when the game wasn't so good, and that Bristol Rovers springs to mind. But even with the games that weren't that good on the eye, you know, you still have to keep, you know, talking. This is radio, so we have to. And lots of, I took, after about a season, and I sort of stumbled on something with Chris, when he goes, he loses it completely, even on air. Yeah. So I thought, I'm going to get him. And the one that made him absolutely lose it was, there was a player called Danny Sender. But anyway, we're on commentary, and I'm talking away, and the ball goes into Sender, and I said, I just thought of it very quickly, and the reverse pass,
I can see what's coming.
Return to Sender.
Oh, I like it.
I said, you're too young for that one, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's Elvis' song, and Chris, return to Sender. And he lost it. Brilliant. And that was just those sort of things used to, it just break it all up, you know, if it wasn't a good game. But
there was one of the games during COVID, because I remember all the games would be on AFCB TV, and it was you and Jordan. And I remember the physio, Steve Hard, had to come on. Jordan maybe didn't phrase it the best.
Calling physio Steve Hard on.
I know what you meant.
What an unfortunate turn of phrase.
Steve's got a hard on. They're going to bring Steve Hard on.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, you were in bits. You were in bits on that one. Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, like you've seen some scenes, and I mean the season. I mean, it's just been incredible. We're in a really good place. I mean, the performance centre itself is just testament to kind of, the direction where this club's going, right?
Oh, it is quite. It's a football miracle. It is, without doubt, the biggest. It's absolutely amazing that people that are now running the football club, the amount of money that we're going to have to spend, because these people. I mean, I don't know if you think, but the American owners, I thought when they were coming in, they'd bought Bournemouth. I mean, they've got McDonald's, they've got burgers, they've got casinos.
Yeah.
It doesn't really happen at Bournemouth.
No, it doesn't.
Too much. So, yeah, amazing people leading us, and hopefully, of course, with Housen going off to Real Madrid, I mean, Senesi's there is the immediate thought, so probably no panic, but if they do go out, let's hope that they bring people in and we'll be just as strong next season.
Ben, both with the owners, the managers, like we've had Eddie Howe, we've got Andoni now. I know we had a few managers in between. We had Maxim Demin. We've got Bill Foley. Very different managers, very different owners, but we're very lucky to have had them all, aren't we?
Yeah, I think it just shows that we've always, since from my memory, kind of starting to follow the club in kind of 2012, 2013, ever since then, I feel like we've been run so well.
Yeah.
Even when we lost Eddie Howe, it took a little while for us to find our feet, going through a few managers like Tyndall, didn't quite work. Woodgate came in, did a job. Scott Parker then got us up. But every manager kind of worked well in their own way. Like even Scott Parker, obviously, kind of, it was all a bit toxic there, but he still did the job and got us up. And then, when he was sacked, we were out of the relegation zone. So everyone has come in and done a good job. And to be honest, the football club, it's got to be one of the best run clubs.
So how old are you, Ben?
Say again?
How old are you?
Just turned 18.
Right. So you're the new generation coming along, yeah.
He's there doing TikToks and I ain't got a clue what he's doing or how he does it. But yeah, we're in a very good position. And look, you're going to the presser this afternoon.
Yeah.
Have you been to a presser before?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Is that at the club? Rather than at the performance centre today, is it?
No, it's at the club.
Oh, it's at the club, yeah.
I'm going to tell them I'm late because I spent so much time with you.
That's not our fault. It's not our fault.
We're in the Queen's Park, funny enough.
Yeah.
The day I signed for Bournemouth, obviously we'd done all the deal in that, and I was in the Moat House, which is, what's that road? Niverton Road?
Yeah. Okay.
So I've signed and I'm going to the hotel, and they give me directions and everything. So I get to the lights here and I thought, I'll have a pint. So I pulled in, and this was the first pub after I'd spoken to Harry I'd ever been in Bournemouth. So it's quite amazing. We've come a full circle.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I'm back here again.
Yeah, back here again.
I suppose the next one will be if I'm in a box.
Look, Manchester City, we've never got so much as a point there. Obviously, we beat them for the first time at home, which was brilliant. Well, in fact, we did get a point there back in the day, a long time ago, that 3-3. However, in the Premier League, we've never got a point at the Etihad. What are the chances tomorrow? I mean, they're going to be angry, aren't they?
Well, look, you never know in this game. That's something I've certainly learned from this season. But the thing with Man City is it's not quite as daunting as it was last season.
True.
We're going there now. We've got a chance.
Yeah.
We have definitely got a chance. Whether you can see it through, whether we just get a draw, which would be fantastic. It's not quite as daunting as it used to be.
Yeah. And have you got any tips for your job next season, or not really? I mean, obviously, you don't have to tell us anything. But...
No, I don't. I don't know. Is the honest answer. But I would tell you if I did. If I hear anything.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you and Chris, and you and Jordan, you've had some experiences in the car on the way. Cause we've driven past you a few times. It's only a little car, isn't it?
Sometimes all sorts of shapes and sizes. You never know with BBC.
Yeah. But do you think that you'd have decided to maybe stay on if we had a European tour? Because you'd have loved that, wouldn't you? You know,
Yes,
having a beer in some square in Bratislava or Tallinn or something.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But it's just the time's right, and that's the way it's going to be. And with the European thing, there's so many ways it can pan out, isn't it? In terms of who could get in. Who knows which way it's going to? We just hope it falls our way, and it happens. Another miracle at Bournemouth.
You've Chris. We've had Chris on, and we've spoke about when he works with you, and sometimes he's had to sort of rein in your celebrations and sort of had to say, Willow, try not to get carried away too much. Are you sort of almost looking forward to maybe attending games now and actually just letting yourself go?
Do you know what the thing with, certainly Chris, Jordan's the same, I forget sometimes that I am commentating. And it's like chatting to a mate, or it should that of it. He could have done this, he could have done that. That's they're very good at what they do, and the questions they slip you in, predominantly good ones. It makes the job an awful lot easier when you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And there was there's been a couple of players' names over the years that you've maybe not got to grips with. I mean, can you say Junior Stanislas correctly yet?
Stanislas, yeah.
There we go.
That's it. Do you know there's more than a couple, by the way. Especially with the foreign lads, it's just got worse and worse.
We've got a lot of amazing players.
I've dropped a right few clangers with the names, no doubt about that one.
But you've seen over the sort of 25 years or so, you have seen some massive changes at this football club. I mean, so since the turn of the century, pretty much. I mean, what a ride we've been on. Administration, minus points and stuff, having to sell our stadium, only recently buying it back. It's been
That's fantastic news, by the way.
Huge.
We've got our stadium back. I mean, that chap who's got the rights on it, he's kept us waiting for a number of years. Yeah. We tried to do that, I would say 3 or 4 times in the past, but it didn't happen or couldn't happen for whatever reason. And we've got Dean Court back, which is the theatre of Dean.
Yeah.
Is what I like to call it. There's always a drama there.
Yeah. Well, John, look, thanks for coming on our preview. Much appreciated. I know you've got to get off to the presser soon. You've got a drink waiting for you to finish. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cherries. Of the Cherries.
Yeah, of the Cherries. Well done, mate. Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Ben, how good to chat to Willow. He's been on the mic for years, hasn't he? I mean, ever since you remember football.
Yeah, and he's got so many iconic moments in his era of being a Bournemouth commentator. I remember when we were playing Barnsley and in lockdown football, we were watching on AFCB TV, him saying when we went 2-0 up, there was champagne football and that we could be going back up to the Premier League. We then conceded 3 in the second half and lost 3-2. So that's one moment that sticks out in my memory, because obviously then later that season we went on and we didn't get promoted. We lost in the playoffs to Brentford. So that was funny. But he's been an icon and someone that I definitely look up to in terms of the commentary game, being a Bournemouth commentator. But yeah, he's an excellent guy.
Barnsley fans, I remember, because it was done through COVID, like they heard the home team's commentary team. And I remember on social media they were kicking off. Like, who's this guy that's talking about? But like, he's had so many amazing stories, and we'll get him on again. I'm absolutely certain. This was completely unplanned, so to have a quick chat with him was really, really nice. Right, we said we'd check a look at Manchester City's kind of recent form. We'll sort of go from the start of April. Ben, talk me through their results then, because they've definitely turned a corner, I feel, and it all started with a formulaic 2-0 win against Leicester, right? Yeah,
it was pretty comfortable. I watched a bit of that game and it looked very, very easy. And then obviously they drew 0-0 to Manchester United in the Manchester derby after that. That was one of the most tame and lame derbies I've ever watched.
Super Sunday, apparently. It had a big build-up.
Boring. Then obviously they played Palace, went 2-0 down. It could have very easily been 3-0 down, and then they came back very, very strongly there to win 5-2. I think that was a very, very big turning point in their season. Then playing Everton and again doing the job there. And then the win against Aston Villa in the last minute, that was crucial for them. A 2-1 win. Villa are a very, very strong side, so that in the race for the Champions League was massive.
So it's the Cup semi-final after that, wasn't it?
Cup semi-final did the job on Forest. Forest didn't have that many clear-cut chances. It seems that City kind of were pretty comfortable, especially at 2-0. Then obviously they again did a job on Wolves. It feels like that's what they've been doing for the last month and a half.
So what is this result at Southampton then? What
Southampton.
Is that? What?
Of all teams for them to drop points to, it's been Southampton. It's crazy. Maybe we'll take a few hints off them, and then Crystal Palace. Obviously they lost against Crystal Palace at the weekend. About how to set up, maybe try and have the ball as little as possible, get them on the counter, just like Palace did. If you look on the app FOTMob, if you look at the momentum for the whole of the game on Sunday or Saturday even, it was just all Man City, and then Palace away on the break. That's when they had their chances. So maybe we could do something similar and get something.
Maybe we could. Right, those on YouTube are seeing on screen our head-to-head between us and Manchester City. And look, over the years, it ain't been great. I mean, a couple of draws early days, one at Main Road, the thrill, and then I was there at that one in 1999 as well. That was on a sunny day at the Old Dean Court. That was a 0-0, but it's been L's ever since, until that is. Look at that date. Write it down, put it on a tea towel, 2nd of November 2024. Famous 2-1 win. It'd be nice to get another W, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think it would. It'd be great if we could. In all away league games against City, Bournemouth have 1-0, drawn 1 and lost 9. In all competitions, 1-1, drawn 2 and lost 20. So how will the game go? It's live on Sky, by the way, 8 p.m. kickoff. Bruce Springsteen is playing at the Co-op Live venue, which is like 30,000 capacity or something, next door to the Etihad. So hopefully we're going to get away okay. We'll have to, we're born to run out the stadium. That's a Springsteen joke. But hopefully after celebrating a win, we'll be dancing in the dark. Any other Springsteen puns? Put them in the comments, by the way. And also our kind of travelling around the Etihad, you'll have seen on our YouTube titles that they're having an expansion at the moment, and we reflected that on our titles. Another 6K seats is going in. So there's a lot of sort of construction work. It doesn't affect the capacity, kind of like what we're doing, going to keep our capacity like as it is, but build seats and then integrate them whenever we can. So fair play to any Cherries fan that's going up, and we are, aren't we? What are we doing?
Yeah, oh God, going up. And I don't know why we're doing it, because even on the website, it looks like the away end, the reduced allocation away end is going to be half empty, which it will kind of feel like the Championship days where we went up north for the away days. No one was really there, maybe 500, 600, like Preston away, that really good game where we lost 2-1. God, that sticks out in memory. So
yeah.
Why are we doing it? Why are we? I don't know.
No idea. Look, Bournemouth just need one more goal, by the way, to equal our highest goals in the Premier League. That was in the 2018-19 season with 56. At the moment, our goals for is 55. Same as the 2016-17 season. So another record is possible. I'd like to think we might be able to get it. If not on this one, hopefully against Leicester City. I mean, a draw at City would be a great result, but, ideally we'd want to win. Maybe I'm looking sort of being a bit glass half full by even suggesting that we got a chance. But that loss against Palace is going to hit hard, isn't it? I wanted them to be celebrating a trophy out of beers on the Sunday and then maybe just not worrying about it too much. But ultimately, I think whatever happened in the FA Cup final, that they won it, all that secures you as Europa, right? Champions League football is so much more lucrative for them, and with where they are now, 6th in the league, they'll have always been taking it seriously, eh? Yeah,
they're going to need to take this game very seriously, especially as it's now De Bruyne's last home game at the Etihad. That's going to have a lot riding on it. They're not going to want to go out on a whimper and lose to us, let alone Bournemouth as well. They're going to need to go for it because there is a world that they lose to us and then win on the last day and they still don't get Champions League. So they're going to need to get something against us, because otherwise this season would have been a complete failure for them. Failure to win any cups, out in the Champions League fairly early, didn't do well there. So their season is kind of all relying on this. and ours as well. Which may suit us in a way. They might come out all guns blazing, and we can, do what we do. But we're going to have to wait and see, because there's so many different things that can happen in this game. You just don't know.
Yeah, Brighton beating Liverpool this evening could be one of the permutations that could shaft us in terms of our hopes. Ben, 2 games to go for Dean Howson as well. Thoughts about his departure? I mean, there's obviously a 50 million release clause which Real activated. I mean, in hindsight, you sort of wish that we put it a bit higher, but how do we know how good he was going to be in his first season? I mean, he's really brilliant. And he's only played if he plays these next 2 games, I think I worked it out that for only 29 matches this season has he played 45 minutes or more. Exactly.
I think he's played 25 full 90s for us this season. The fact that we've made £38 million of profit off that. It's all gone a different trajectory to what we thought it would. That's why Senesi started over him for the first few months of him being here, and that's why the release clause was set at that, because from what you can kind of gather, we weren't expecting him to be an absolute world beater in his first season. And in some cases, it was a blessing in disguise, Senesi getting injured, because then he's come in and been excellent. Maybe we're thinking we'd slowly integrate him into the team and sell him on eventually. And then obviously Real Madrid have come in. You can't say no to Real Madrid. It's mental that we've gone from having the pre-season friendly against them in July 2013 and that being some amazing thing, to now selling players to them and selling players to big clubs. It looks like Kerkez could be off to Liverpool.
Well, he's been liking enough tweets from, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been liking enough Instagram posts and tweets from people like, is it Frimpong that's about to join?
Yeah.
And he's been liking those it's like, what are you doing?
I know. And then waking up this morning to Fabrizio Romano saying that they're advancing in talks and all of this stuff. It's not exactly pleasant, but it's good money for us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Helps with FFP, maybe building a new stadium and improving that and everything else. So there's positives to look at it, and especially because the deal's been done so early in the window, it gives us time to hopefully strengthen more than for next season and see where that takes us.
Let's check out the team news then. Man City, Rodri's out. Ake's out, John Stones, Oscar Bob. Haaland's back though, isn't he?
Yeah.
And why didn't he take that penalty, by the way?
I've got no idea, because he always seems to be somewhat decent at penalties, even if he has missed a couple this season. Giving it to someone I don't think he's taken a penalty for Manchester City. I could be wrong, but he's not their designated penalty taker by any means. In a cup final as well, maybe they thought it was mind games, but it's just bizarre. And their team's obviously come back. They've got a much stronger team to what they did when we played them back in November. I remember they had some sort of injury crisis then, or a mini one. So they've got a much strengthened team now.
Yeah, for Bournemouth, we know who's out for us. We've got the list on premierinjuries.com being shown on YouTube. That includes Alex Scott. Now, if I was to do this to Ben, I mean, well, firstly, Kerry would have words, but secondly, they'd probably file for GBH. But, because it's in a football match, it's fine. Tyrone Mings may not have meant it. We know that. But Alex Scott is out for the rest of the season. And I can't see many others being back before the end of the season. So those 5 players are pretty much done and dusted. In terms of the referee for the weekend, it's Thomas Bramall. He took our home game against Crystal Palace on Boxing Day. Right then, on to the predicted teams then. And Ben, we're gonna start with Manchester City then. And this is quite a difficult one to predict, but I'm gonna go with you on this. Okay. Whatever you think.
Well, in goal, I think it's going to be Ederson. I think that's kind of a given. He does normally start in goal now. And I think O'Reilly has got that spot at left back. I think he's been very, very impressive ever since he came in. Maybe his game against us, where he was phenomenal, was his breakout game in a way, doing it against a higher echelon team.
Yeah.
And then that moves then Gvardiol onto the left centre-back spot with Ruben Diaz at right centre-back. And I think Mateus Nunes will fill in as a right back that maybe will invert into midfield, like they do nowadays. And then I think Kovacic, he's been very impressive this season. He'll start in the pivot. And I think Nico Gonzalez hasn't played that much
Yeah.
this season since he came in from Porto, but he's a very, very impressive player, so I think he will start alongside Kovacic, seeing as they only played a couple days ago as well. And then I think De Bruyne just in front of them. It's his last game. It would be very, very surprising if he doesn't start. And then on the wings, for me, it kind of writes itself. I think Doku and Savinho are their two main wingers, their two most explosive and impressive wingers with... I don't know. I feel like they still need to manage Haaland's minutes, so I think they may start Marmoush up top.
Okay, yeah.
And then maybe they can change it if it doesn't work. I'm going to put Marmoush up top. Maybe it's Haaland. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Marmoush is a good player, and he's done it against us as well.
Fair play, fair play. Love that from you. Right then, as for Bournemouth then, 4-2-3-1, what are you going for?
It's the same back four in goalie as typical. Kepa in goal, Adam Smith at right back with Howson and Zabani centre half, and then Kirkes at left back.
Yep.
Two in midfield. Again, it writes itself with the injuries that we've got. It'll be Cook and Adams, even though they are very similar players, and I don't think we'll change anything else. And then again, the front four, there's not much else we can do. It'll be Kluivert in the 10, and I'll be very surprised if it isn't Tavernier and Semenyo on the wings, and that leaves Evan Nilsson up top with not a lot on the bench, to be honest, apart from David Brooks and not a whole lot else.
Yeah, Daniel Jefferson. Tom said he was going to get a Premier League goal at some point. Maybe it could be against City. It'd be ideal now, Dan, if you wanna come good. Right, so predictions then. Let us know in the comments what your prediction is for this one. We'd love to see what you got to say. Before you do type that, I just need to let you know a few stats. Man City have won all 7 of their Premier League games against Bournemouth. As we know, they have won their final home league game in 10 of the last 11 seasons, including each of the last 8. Their last defeat at this stage of the season was against Norwich, I think a 3-2. And Bournemouth have lost their final away league game in both of the last 2 seasons. Last doing so in 3 consecutive campaigns between 89 and 92. I'm just trying to think. Final away league game in both the last 2 seasons. Was
Chelsea?
it Chelsea?
And then the one Everton,
Oh, yeah, of course.
because then they stayed up.
You're good.
On the last
Who
day of the
needs Tom
season.
Jordan? All right, Ben, with that in mind, what's your prediction? What are you going for?
Oh, it's so difficult. It's so difficult because we could think the City are going to be deflated after the weekend. They may be up for it because they need to get Champions League.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I'm going to settle for a draw. I'm going to say we're going to draw 1-1, which is good for us in many ways, because then it means that City are another point closer to Chelsea, and then we gain a point so it goes hopefully to the final day. So a point is a very good result for us in many ways. Obviously, a win would be better in some other ways. But I think a draw is fair enough, and it'll be our first ever point away at the Etihad.
There you go. Well, I'm going to be slightly less optimistic than you. I think we probably will lose. I'm going for a 3-1. But I'm hoping that Brighton do us a favour against Liverpool tonight. And if they do, that means we got something to go for in the last game of the season. There's something to play for, and just to be in the mix, and just to be listening to our radios and having to then track scores online and stuff, just to see what's going on elsewhere.
That'd be fun.
Stranger things have happened. Chelsea have got to go to Forest. They have to finish 7th. They have to win they're playing Betis, is it?
Betis in the Conference League.
Which, that's not easy, but you'd think Chelsea would have it in the bag, surely. But you never know. I suppose if they finish in a Champions League place, there's not really any, it doesn't really matter. But then a trophies would be good for Maresca maybe. But let us know your predictions. And if you're making the trip, fair play to you. We'll see you up there. From Ben and I, up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries.
Come on.